Hello everybody and welcome to this playthrough for the Players 9-Hole Cup Pro and Expert Division, a full 9 of the TPC Sawgrass. I'm so excited about this and I had a blast playing these holes in practice, and I do have a drop on every hole besides one, I think, here in this play. Not that that really matters in terms of the tournament, but that just means that we do have some really good stuff already. Before we take a closer look at everything, make sure to hit the thumbs up button if you enjoy the content. Also, subscribe to the channel and turn on the notifications. For those of you that are looking for some help for the 9-Hole Cup to come, make sure to scan the QR code or go directly to patreon.com/golf-tommy. Sign up for our 9-Hole Cup guide package, because then it will allow you get access to expert and master division, everything we do for both of those divisions for any 9-Hole Cup. Obviously, you can bundle together with 18-hole tournaments if you would like, but I'm just saying it separately because I know there are people that are playing specifically the 9-Hole Cup and not just 18-hole tournaments. So make sure to sign up. Use the QR code or the link in the description down below. Info box on the right hand side for the club distance adjustment, elevation adjustment, also with ball and club type I suggest you to play with. Have in mind that those are all suggestions and you don't have to follow it if you don't want to, but there's always a plan behind it. And I would like to add as well, because I've been getting some comments about that, I'm using clubs that you may not have. I mean, I have higher level clubs when I'm doing this playthrough, but I'm making always sure to find positions that you can apply to lower level clubs, and you will hear that on my explanation as well. So don't just steer yourself blind with what club level I have. Listen to my explanation and look at the way that I'm playing, and you will see for yourself that you can adapt that to lower level clubs also. So now, hole number 1. Hole number 1, if we do have a tailwind, we are going to send it. If we do have a crosswind or a headwind, we are going to lay up. What we're doing here now, or what I'm doing, is that I'm going to put my target at plus 24 yards. Have in mind that if you do play with an Apocalypse level 4, for an example, you're putting that club up to max with a P5 ball. So here we're not entirely up into max club. We're having bullseye by the rough line to simplify the landing position a lot. And we're going to use 5.8 top spin and 2 right spin. Adjust max no elevation. We're not pushing up, which means that we're going to play with a max OP needle, and it's going to be completely slow. 1.5 ball of right curl. We're bouncing on the fairway, and it rolls down to be around the green. Sure, you could push this one with more curl, but for me, I'm satisfied to be here for a wedge on the second shot. We're going to take a look at the wedge as well, just for reference, even though that's obviously a no-brainer. When we get here, we're going to do our very best to lock in the eagle. So I'm doing an EB School version. There are tutorials here on YouTube that do show you EB School if there is something that you do not know just of yet, which is fine. I mean, we can all learn new things, but this is definitely a method that has helped my wedge game immensely. So 20% elevation with no spin, and then whatever power ball that I'm using, which in this case is a P5 ball. No spin whatsoever, so again, you don't have to have any high clubs for this type of shot. Now, to summarize here in the end, if you do have a crosswind ahead when you need to lay up, and then you're gonna play a short iron towards the pin. But if it is a tailwind, we're gonna send it, and then the eagle is gonna be very, yeah, I'm not going to say very easy, but it's going to be a bit simpler than if you have to lay up. For hole number 2, we do have a headwind, and in a headwind, I'm going to find absolute min line with my sniper, leaving a little gap from the yellow ring to the rough line, so approximately 20% of the red ring outside onto the fairway, using 0.9 backspin and 3 right spin. Adjust max plus 15. And then I'm going to hit perfect, and in this case drop it for an hole in one. I really do enjoy this spot though, because I do feel that the ball comes in very nicely here. But to have everything else said about hole 2 as well is that you have an open fairway, you have an open green, you have some rough on the right, rough on the left. So there are possibilities here for you to go all from a rough bump to backspin shots and whatnot. But I do really believe how this ball comes in nicely, and that is going to be a good shot in general. Obviously, if you do have a tailwind, you're going to have to play with a long iron if you're going to back up playing from there, because then otherwise you will pull into min club. So hole number 2, I believe this is the best chance for an hole-in-one of all the par 3s. Let's have a look at hole number 3. Here I'm starting with a quarterback at max P3 line. This to help making the landing position very consistent and very easy to replicate, even if you do not have the apocalypse that I'm having here. So once you found the position with quarterback, you swap to apocalypse. Doesn't matter what level you have. You're adding the spins, which we are using 5 top spin and 1 right spin. Max plus 10 is the adjustment, and you can see here now that my goal here is to be as far up the fairway possible without rolling into the rough. Here I would like to squeeze a couple of more yards out, so I should have gone with a little bit more topspin. But again, landing position and the spins can be used with lower level clubs. You don't have to, or like, don't focus too much on the driver level that I have myself. Second shot, we're going to play with our sniper from long distance. Here you can go for a rough bump if you feel doing so. It is, however, a finicky one, whereof bouncing on the fairway is actually, in my opinion, a slightly better attack, at least at this stage. And obviously, in the end, it comes down to what type of wind direction you do have, or at least it does that for me. And that will decide if I'm doing like a bounce up shot like this, or I'm doing a rough bump. Now, adjustment, no elevation, true club distance. So here we are close to max. So here I should have played max numbers, but I'm not really playing max numbers, which is also why I'm getting saved by a great right. Leaving the ball guideline slightly short to hold due to the fact that we do have a slight tailwind, but also that I'm adjusting from a lower to a higher point. Every time we do that, we are going to gain some distance, and that is obviously something that we need to have in mind. So we're hitting that great right, getting lucky, dropping it on the right side of the cup. Obviously needed more adjustment because a perfect would have missed left. But this is, in my opinion, not in my opinion, but this is hole number 3, and in my opinion, this is definitely a good albatross chance. Hole number 4, we are going to do an NMT here with a power 0 ball. It's not showing here on the video because it is a replay glitch, but we're starting with a basic ball, and then the club is going to open up like this. Then I'm swapping in headwind to a Titan ball to allow myself to not pull into max club. If I do have a crosswind or a tailwind, I can stay with, not stay, but I can change to maybe a navigator or a katana or something like that to save my power 3 balls. Max plus 20 is the adjustment, 1 ball of right curl and trying to hit perfect using 5.8 top spin and 1 right spin. The ball rolls down nicely on the fairway, and we're looking to be close to the rough line, but not close enough that we flirt and danger in any way the water. Now on the second shot, what we're going to do here is that we are going to use our thorn, not the sniper as displayed here in the picture. So we're going to change that to that one. So we're doing the thorn, and my little trick here now, because I believe that bouncing on the green is actually fairly inconsistent. So my little trick to have a consistent ball guideline to attack here and not to have to use a lot of backspin is actually use the fringe. Look how good the ball guideline become here from the fringe. A very low first bounce, which means that the ball will be affected not that much by the wind, and it looks very consistent in terms of glitch spots as well. So I'm looking to be centered onto the fringe, no elevation, true club distance. Obviously, from a tournament perspective, having a pin check or a fringe check or something like that will be very, will come very handy. But here I play mid distance, no elevation, and using the 2 right spin ball guideline through the hole. Due to the fact that we do have a headwind, with no headwind, I would be leaving the ball guideline just through the hole or just into the hole, because the wind will then help making sure we're not going short in line. So A simple way of getting the eagle layer on hole number 4. One thing to add though is that if we do have a straight tailwind, you can try sending this one, and there is definitely a possibility to get the ball to green. Take your game to the next level with our ultimate tournament text guides. We are doing for expert and master division qualifying round guide and final round guide, and we are uploading as we go. So as soon as a guide for any hole is done, we're adding it to the guide portfolio where you can access. So as soon as you sign up for the 9-hole cup package or any other package that do cover the 9-hole cups, you will get access to the guides, but also to our Telegram support system where you can ask questions and learn and improve from our shot creators, but also other really good players that are involved in our community. So sign up, scan the QR code here on the screen. You can use the link patreon.com/golf-tommy that is in the description down below. On the drive here on hole number 5, we're doing an NMT, which means I'm not touching the target until it's time to adjust the reins. 1.5 bar top spin and 3 left spin. Adjustment is max plus 10. The NMT here on the drive is to help simplify finding the correct spot, and you can obviously play this with lower level drivers as well. Now, the curl that I'm using is 0.75 ball of left curl, trying to hit perfect obviously, and going to do my very best to get myself into range that is long iron on the approach. The important part with this hole here is not to go too far. If you go too far with your drive, you're gonna have the right side tree to be in your face, and that's going to make you lose out the opportunity of making an albatross. It is here on hole 5. So what I'm doing here now is that I'm playing with the Grizzly. If you do have B52, I mean that is level 6 or better, that's definitely a better club to use because it has more yardage. Obviously playing with a P3 ball would help too. Now I'm aiming close to the tree, but it's not as close as it looks. It's just that the aim point is more flat in my opinion, the more left we are on that rough. So I'm using the plus yardage on my club to get myself the correct type of reference when it comes to the adjustment on the second shot. 3 right spin, some top spin to get the ball guideline just short of hole, and here I'm actually playing max plus 5 in total, this from plus 4 landing position. You can ignore the rough bump here and go directly on the fairway. The problem you may have there is the fact that you might have the tree then that is going to cover the adjustment view, and you might clip the tree and then you might end up into crap. So therefore the rough bump here, as it is such a massive rough as well, I would say there is no danger in playing the rough bump, and I believe that gives you the best opportunity for an albatross. Hole number 6, and when I do have a slight headwind or a direct crosswind, I'm playing from P1 min line. Here I'm playing with a navigator, but you can obviously play with any P1 ball that you do have. 1 left spin, and I'm gonna have backspin to let the ball guideline go approximately 1 green square through the hole. If it is more headwind, I would leave the ball guideline even more through the hole, because otherwise there is a risk of us going short. Max plus 10 is the adjustment here from min line, and also to have that said, pack the Grizzly or the backbone to ensure that you do find a proper min line, so you're not finding yourself with the Goliath or the B52, then you're gonna risk jumping back and forth between the long iron and the wood club. Max plus 10 is the adjustment that I'm using in the video. Perfect ball it is, and we're then going to bounce on the fairway up onto the green, and we're dropping this one not entirely dead center because we're dropping it left side cup. A drop is a drop, and hole number 6 I do believe is going to be quite tricky as a par 3 here at the Players 9-hole cup. On hole 7, we are going to send it. I'm setting up at max P3 line for an APOC 5 at 5 to 8. For APOC 4, you're going to set up at plus 23, which means that you have to start with at least a power 4 ball to find the position. But that's what we're going to play with a P5 ball anyway. then, you know, that's gonna be fine. Bullseye by the rough line, 3 top spin, 0.9 left spin, adjustment max plus 15. And what I'm doing here now is then to go max curl to the left, max overpower with a slower needle. The intention obviously is to hit perfect, and then you can have different type of bounces once you hit fairway. One thing is that you can get those dead bounces, which is like this, and you're gonna end up for a wedge. Or you get the longer bounces, which is going to land you on green. And this is most definitely a possibility for you to get yourself on hole in one on this par 4. That's why I think in any crosswind and tailwind, you're going to send this one. If you do have a headwind, you're going to have to lay up, which obviously is not fun, but you can't really send it in a positive way. You could if playing with a big boy club and also a really good ball, but in general, I would say in headwind we're going to lay up. Just for reference, the wedge, 20% elevation, EB school, no spin, P5 numbers as I'm playing with a P5 ball. If you're playing with any other ball, you obviously use that Powerball number as that Powerball as to align with your adjustment. So making the adjustment, we're doing that here, and then we're going to center the ball and hit perfect, grab our eagle, and move on to hole number 8. Hole number 8 is probably the most trickiest hole that we do have of the TPC Sawgrass here in the Players and 9-hole cup. Here I'm starting at the top of plus 11, red ring by the rough line. For those playing with Apocalypse level 4, then you start at the plus 17 yard mark. 5.8 topspin, which once again is for every driver, so we do have the possibility to use the topspin, so we're not getting stuck by limited or being limited by the club that we're having. Adjust max no elevation, then we're going max curl to the left. And the reason I'm doing this is to make sure to play a shot that don't require any overpower, and I'm taking a shortcut in between the trees by bouncing into the rough to roll out and then give me an open shot for the pin. Because that's the issue with hole number 8, is that if you are laying up to the right, the trees will cover your view and you will struggle even saving the eagle here on this par 5. And also if you're trying to go aggressive, going with a lot of overpower around the trees that is there in the center, and that's going to be an issue as well, because what if you mess up, what if you hit a bad grade or something like that, or you roll into the rough, then you might lose out on the first and foremost albatross, but also the eagle. So this is a much smarter drive in my opinion. Now for the second shot, we are going to look where min club is, and from there we're going to push up rings. Here I'm pushing up 5 rings, position myself with the red ring by the rough line, and then applying spins so the ball guideline is approximately 1 green square short of the hole. What we need to have in mind though when it comes to this type of approach, especially when it comes to having a slight tailwind, is that the ball may come in a tad too hot, which is something I should have thought of, and aim with the ball guideline a little bit further back than what I'm doing. But from here, it's all about finding the correct adjustment. Here I'm adjusting a little bit too much, not much, not extremely too much, but a little bit too much that makes me miss. But this is a solid approach that with a little dialed in the tournament will reward you with a possibility of attacking this hole for an albatross, where many players that do not really know about the shortcut way will struggle immensely of getting themselves to have a look for an albatross, where you watching here and also having our guides in expert and also master will have a massive advantage over others. I do think hole 9 is going to be the most difficult playing from the second tee, because we are going to find ourselves playing with a long iron more or less every single time. What I'm doing here now is that I'm using my Saturn, all the backspin, half of our right spin, and you can see here using the yellow ring to be by the fringe ball guideline as you see in the video, and from there we're adjusting max plus 40. The reason I'm using the Saturn here is to allow myself to land on green. I want to land on green because landing on the fairway before the green always gives a weird bounce, and it's super difficult to dial in and hole in one with that. Now, using outside wall right curl as the wind is pushing right to left is to straighten the ball guideline out, or the ball's flight out, and give myself a chance for the hole in one. Any wind come left to right, you don't need to use any curl. That's the same if you do have a straight wind as well. But in the end, I do feel there is tons of value in landing on the green directly. Worst case scenario, with all the backspin, you find yourself with a very simple birdie putt. But hole 9, that's gonna definitely be some trouble for the players. Thank you so much, everybody, for watching this playthrough with various wins for the Players 9-Hole Cup here in Golf Clash the game. The beautiful TPC Sawgrass for you all, and I'm so excited to dig into this course for real when we do know the tournament wins starting Thursday the 9th of March. Have in mind though that get our guides, the best guides on the market. We're doing a 9-Hole Cup guide for Expert and Master division. So regardless what division you're playing, scan the QR code or go directly with the link patreon.com/golf/Tommy. Sign up for the 9-Hole Cup package. You get access to both of the divisions with that package. You can obviously choose a package that allows you to play the 18-hole tournaments as well. But if you're only interested in 9-hole tournaments, you can find a package alone for that. So scan the QR code or go directly to patreon.com/golf/Tommy and let us crush the TPC Sawgrass together. Thank you so much once again for watching. Good luck in your Golf Clash game.